So one of the persons that's been watching my videos, Bajay Cook, asked a question about teaching singles to doubles. And what he asked was if I could share a practice routine or give examples of exercises that we could use in order to develop the grip and feel when playing singles and doubles. Okay, the key word that he said is actually the word feel. And he may have used it in another sense, but I'm going to use it in this sense. This technique and other techniques, they just feel different. There is a feeling about that. Now what the feeling is, actually, it rests in how the grip is used, or how we hold the stick in the hand and how we use the grip. So first thing is, let's ask ourselves, what does this actually feel like? This grip feels a particular way. Thumb is on the stick, right there along the stick. Index finger, first knuckle, comes along the stick, guides the stick here. We're holding it firm but not tight. Then this finger is where the stick is going to be either lie or it's held, right? It's also the fulcrum. This feels a particular way. These fingers here can either just relax against the stick or just rest against the stick. They're not really important at this point. That's what that feels like. Now, if I were to compare it, let's say, to another grip, let's say a grip that looks like this. This grip feels a particular way. I feel my index finger out here, not on the first knuckle, out here near the tip. The middle finger and the two back fingers are what's really primarily holding the stick. I feel it really the most in these two back fingers. When I make a stroke, I'm asking myself, where do I feel the impact? When I turn up, what do these fingers feel like? When I make an impact, I feel it here. And I feel it here. I feel the stick resting against the palm. I feel a little bit in the thumb, but the thumb is sending its energy out this way. It's going out this way. So that's what I feel when I'm doing that. And when I hold the stick like this, and I make a strike, I feel the impact evenly divided between these three fingers. The point of impact is going to be either here at the fulcrum or right in between those three. As opposed to me holding it like this. Okay, so now what is it that we can do to actually get this? First off, again, we have to simply recognize what these things feel like. I'm using a grip like this. You may hold it differently, but I'm using this because I've seen this more than a few times. Okay, this is not wrong, because if you look at those Moeller videos where they're playing those traditional drums, they're holding the stick very similar to that. The left is kind of tricky for me, but they're holding it like that. Okay, something like that. Okay, this grip calls for something else, and that's really the question. This grip calls for us to hold it like this. So an exercise to get it is to ask yourself, when I do this like this, with the fingers out like this and gripping it more in the back, what am I feeling? Where is it that I'm feeling the impacts? Where do I first feel the stick striking the surface. The first impact. Okay, now, once again, where do I feel it when I do this? When I use this grip. It just feels different. It's now up here. Okay, now when we do doubles, I'm playing like this. Where do I feel the double? I feel it back here in these back fingers. That's where I feel that. This finger feels like it's kind of putting pressure to actually guide the stick towards the back fingers. That's what it feels like to me. Using the thumb, but in a different way. See, there's this angle happening rather than this angle. Right? It's much longer, too. See? The grip goes from here to here, to there to there. I also feel some downward pressure in the index finger. Using this grip, I don't feel any of that. It feels like I'm holding it with these three fingers. Okay, now an exercise to do, of course, is if we put the metronome, let's say to, let's start at, let's say, something at 48. And just do that exercise where we go from eighth notes to doubles of 16th notes. Wrist turn, we can just do wrist turns right now. Using this grip, see, I'm searching for, I'm not searching for, I'm feeling all those impacts. How does the wrist react to that? Well, pretty much the same, actually. What I feel. This is almost to the timbali grip, which looks like this, right? Now when I play that same exercise, like this, I feel it in a very different way. I feel it up here. Now all of this is obvious when we examine it like this. And so what we're looking for now is how do you train yourself to be obvious about this? First off, you have to recognize what's actually happening. What's actually happening if I play like this? Right? Where am I feeling it? It feels a very particular way because where you're holding it, see? If I hold it like this, it's going to give me another sensation. And what's that sensation? That sensation is me holding it here, not here. So when you practice, let's say you practice stick control, first page, or you want to do doubles to rebounds, there's that first doubles, singles to doubles page. You could start out very slowly so you can feel it in the wrist, just the wrist turn, so you can start to recognize where those points of contact are. Then you can turn it up. So a easy doubles tempo is what, like 92? Practice it. What does it feel like when I do this? Okay, so now I know what that feels like. Now I want to feel it like this. So one of the keys is once you start to feel this again, once you learn to first to recognize this, And as you're practicing and you suddenly feel this again, then the thing is you need to stop. Just stop. Realign yourself to this grip. Need be, feel the difference. Oh, that's interesting. The angles are different too. Huh, the angles are more like this. The angles become more like this, straight. The angles with this stay like, oh, the angles. So as you can see, as I was going between the differences of holding the stick like this or like this, I just started to discover other things, like the angles. Each grip has a different angle, see? And so as you explore how these different grips feel, whichever grip you're using, I use this one as an example, you'll start to discover that there are significant differences between this and whatever you're using. If you want to learn this, then you have to learn how this feels.